Dennis and you guys are right up next.
Yeah, he'll be coming now.
About 3 or 4 minutes of Dennis real quick. He's got to hit the road, but gosh, just Aaron Wiggins. Aaron Wiggins actually lives right beside the court where I made history. That's my outdoor court, Forest Valley Court. I got to get that guy back in. I played on that court I played on Lake Daniels since 1980. I've been in Forest Valley since probably 84. I've been on outdoor basketball court every Sunday since 1980. That's many years I put in. But I mean, it's just amazing. Kid lives right there. Never met him before.
Yeah.
Saw him at the Grimsley game one night.
Right now, what's Forest Valley at?
It's Forest Valley off Hobbs Road down at the bottom. It's down where Judge Albright's family came from.
Okay.
Amazing. I mean, that's like, man, there's still, I'm looking for the apocalypse to happen now. Polarizing, that's the key word, that polarizing. That's what Cam Newton does. He's a polarizing figure.
So there's two things that I know now. You have the ditch, and then you have the court for all these years.
Like I say, I moved the past couple of years. I moved from Forest Valley to Jefferson School. Smith Dudley game last night. What did you think?
That was an outstanding game. I talked about the Dudley mental breakdown. Dudley has when you catch Dudley not showing consistent, they played the first quarter great. They took off the second quarter. Smith was able to score 26, closing shot, three-pointer by Bigelow, and you have a 26-26 ball game. Smith could have been up, Dudley could have been up about 15 points at half, but when they took off the second half, gave Smith an opportunity.
Yeah, we were talking about Page Grimsley this past Tuesday. It was a big win for Grimsley at Page, and Grimsley takes that against Dudley tomorrow night. Let me hit you on things I know you can answer quickly. How about Metro 4A boys winner this year? Who is the Metro boys?
I had Dudley, and I think I'm still going to stick with Dudley winning.
Dudley Grimsley, right? Huge.
Dudley, that's a big game tomorrow night.
How about the Metro 4A girls winner?
Well, you know that would have to stay with the Dudley Panthers as well.
Dudley girls, Dudley boys both win. Southwest Guilford boys and Northwest Guilford girls, Piedmont Triad 4A, you agree?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
How about the best basketball game you've seen this year?
Best, I would have to say the Dudley and Smith game last week. The excitement, I think that was the best exciting game that I've seen other than the Hayco game.
And for Dudley, how far do you see these teams going this year?
Well, Dudley right now without Miles White, I can't see them going past the second round. They can't go deep because they are.
Do you see Southwest Guilford boys, Northwest Guilford girls going deep?
I see both of them teams going to the regional runner-up, or if they don't make the state, they'll be runner-ups.
How about Super Bowl Sunday? Who wins and by how many?
I would have to go with the Panthers by 7.
Other than Cam Newton, who's going to be the Panthers MVP? Cam is a polarizing factor. He's the character.
I would say Luke.
Luke Kuechly wins
Luke
MVP.
Kuechly will have to on defense.
Who scores the Panthers' first touchdown?
I would say Cam Newton.
Cam Newton will be so it's got to be a touchdown. He won't score a touchdown reception.
No.
How much does Thomas Davis play?
I would say as much as the Panthers defense need him. I think that he'll play as much as they need him. If this game is close, he'll stay in. If either team is blowing out, I don't think you'll see Thomas Davis in the third, fourth quarter.
Southwest Guilford, Northwest Guilford boys meet this coming Tuesday night. Who wins that game?
Southwest Guilford.
Southwest wins again.
Southwest wins again.
They went on, I remember last year we taught those Northwest kids, hard-fought game was our key phrase last year. It was a tough game. 100 points by the teams last year. Century mark last year.
And I still can see that like it was yesterday. They walking off the court.
Yeah, we said hard-fought game.
Sure did, absolutely.
How about Northwest Guilford girls? They still beat with a win against East Davis next Wednesday. That's their big game. 20-0 versus 19-0. Northwest Guilford girls.
That's what you talked about 3 weeks ago. How they're going to play when they face a tough team, and it's yet to be said, but I think I give them the edge. Northwest girls the edge.
Top 5 public school boys in Guilford County.
I will say Northwest. I'll say Southwest.
Let's get the top 5 boys, individual players.
Oh, individual players.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, individual players. There again, I would have to go with Herndon Hooker. I would have to go with I can't leave out Trey Turner. He's here.
He's on the list. Yep.
And I would have to go over to Smith and Raymond Pratt.
Okay.
And I would have to go to right now Wiggins.
Aaron Wiggins, that's right.
And then my last one, right?
Yep.
My last one, I would have to go over to Southwest
Cameron Langley.
to Cameron Langley.
How about top
close
girl?
did I get to yours?
That's my 5 right there.
Are you kidding me?
That's right. That's
Come
right. I
on.
got Turner, I got Pratt, I got Wiggins, I got Hooker, I got Langley right there. For the girls, quickly, your top 5 girls.
Let's go with Haley Barber.
Right.
Let's stick with 2 more off of the Northwest. Let's go with Morgan Porter. I have
Okay.
to go with Porter. I have to go with Bailey Cargo.
Okay.
I have to go with Kiera Harrison at Dudley.
Okay.
And then I would have to go with Kanane.
And Canade, but no Monk this time.
No more.
Dennis, excellent job.
All right, man.
We'll see you tomorrow night. We'll
Hey,
talk more
see
about
you,
this
man.
then. And
Good
going to
to
get
see you.
our other young men in tonight. Let's get
right.
in Mr. Turner. He's ready to 50. Get that here. Shane's check that out. 2-minute warning with Dennis. Dennis, what'd you have on the meal now? What was on the plate tonight?
Oh, I just did the chicken, the half chicken. Yeah, it went real.
Good food.
Yeah, good food. This time of night, I didn't want the barbecue. I wanted the chicken, so I got to have the chicken. And guess what? And I have some of that left over tomorrow, man. Half.
That's be
Half
nice.
today and half tomorrow.
That'd be nice.
Yes, sir. Real quickly, the game tomorrow night. I was talking with Joe Sierra, and we was talking about the dynamics of the Dudley and Grimsley game. And I was telling Joe, I think Grimsley, it's like other teams when they playing Dudley, they look at the name of Dudley and the fear factor.
Got to get over
And
it.
you got to get over
Just
it.
realize it's at your place. It's in your
Absolutely.
den, in your building. So they got to come to your. So you're in the house. You're in the Whirley's house tomorrow
Yes,
night.
yes.
Yeah, you got to get over that fear factor, like you say.
Absolutely, and able to do it.
I mean, they can match up. There's no doubt about it. They can match up
Yeah.
with Dudley because Grimsley's got the talent. I mean, Grimsley's beaten Page 3 times. They've beaten Smith. They've beaten them quite a few teams.
Yeah, you're absolutely
6-1.
right.
Hard to beat that.
And Andy, if I would have told you, you and I talked about this late last night on our weekly phone call, if I'd have told you when you asked me here a month ago who was my pick for the Metro 4A, if I'd have said Grimsley, you would have asked me was something wrong with me, you know?
Yeah, at least maybe the middle of the pack, but not in the top spot.
Right.
I mean, everybody was thinking maybe Dudley would get that top spot this year, or maybe Page, they would have been better than they've become because of the loss of so many guys, and he would over not coming around as quick as he has. But Grimsley in the top spot's a great surprise right now.
That's a big surprise, and if you're Coach Thomas Griffey, that's the best place to be. And it's due because he had the old axe and just chopping at it and chopping at it and chopping at it. And now I think Andy, he's got that axe sharpened. And if they play the way they played against Page in their home, at their home, I think Dudley would be.
If they
in
can get that
trouble.
student section going like they did against
Oh, man.
Page, it'd be unreal.
It'd be unreal.
I haven't seen anybody top or meet or match that student section. I was at Page on Tuesday for the Page and Grimsley game at Page. Student section did not match up with what Grimsley had that Friday. It was a Tuesday night, by the way. That's a factor to consider, but still, Grimsley's student section, that's the top stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe Southwest Guilford at the old corral this coming Tuesday
Yeah.
might be able to top that. We'll see, but Grimsley's got it right now. They've got the honors.
And I think that you and I talked about 2 or 3 years ago when we was at Northwest and how Southwest quiet that Northwest crowd. You said that's about the loudest you've seen Northwest when they played against Southwest, and then we went to Southwest.
Yeah.
Southwest gave them the favor back, you know, dressed in the camouflage,
That's right.
you know.
At
And
the
so,
ranch.
yeah, there you go. You
the
were right
ranch.
on it. And so I like to see that the fan base, and you're right, Grimsley fan base, that 6-man is going to mean a lot to them tomorrow night.
And a team that's come a long way under Coach Thomas Griffiths getting it going, man. They've really got it going well. What about this other question to ask you? What about who's going to be the next president of the United States?
Well, I'm never speechless. I think that with me, I think Hillary Clinton.
She'll win it.
I think that the parties, I think that when whoever the nominee for the Republican Party is going to be key, because right now, you don't know which way they're
You
going to
got
go.
right now, it's like Ted Cruz, Donald Trump,
Donald
and
Trump,
Marco
yeah.
Rubio. Those three, the top three. The other guys are dropping out right and left.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't know, will Donald Trump now, Sarah Palin, she has endorsed Trump.
That's right. That's
You
right.
know, one of the things when you look at that
Jerry
combination.
Falwell Jr. endorsed Trump.
Yeah, they
Falwell
endorsed
Jr. did.
Trump.
And plus, Glenn Beck endorsed Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz.
Beck endorsed
So
him, yeah.
you have a lot of people endorsing, trying to find a mainstream. I thought Jeb Bush coming in had the edge.
Oh, he has
based
a family
on,
background.
Yeah,
But he is way off the charts.
way up the charts, and I think you have to
He
look
should
at.
suspend his campaign. It sounds
Yeah.
like a lot of people saying, save some money. Joe, good to see you as always. Thank you.
I think that his brother last couple of years caused him not
Tell you one
to.
thing, the job that George Bush did when he was in George W. Bush, the second Bush, the son, after George Sr., but this George W. Bush did, you look back at it now, and after all the problems we've had, it doesn't seem quite as bad as it did then.
Right,
It's funny because when a guy leaves office, what will he be remembered
What
for?
would he be remembered
as, and he still gets some jokes poked his way, but not like it was when he was in office.
Right.
Now they look at it and say, well, it doesn't matter who's got that job, that's a tough job.
That's a tough job.
Oh, man.
That's a tough job. And
No, I don't think anybody can be the dream factor to turn this thing around. I don't know. It's just always going to be tough up there.
yeah, and when I go back, and if the question ever asked, who was the best president that
I
I
still
can
say it's Abe
remember?
Lincoln. I can't remember. I went back when he was around, but my history is saying presidents. I still say it was Abe Lincoln. That's my man.
And when I look at the times that I remember, I would have to say Jimmy Carter, because that's when the Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah, and he's still. Think about Carter. After he got in office, he didn't go away to the vacation. He's still working. Got to give him credit for that.
When you
Still
look at the
working.
humanitarian, I would have to look at. And then when you go to the education, one thing George W. Bush, where Laura did well, his wife, was the No Child Left Behind initiative education.
His
They
wife
put-
did some good stuff.
Yeah,
I thought
did
she had some
stuff.
very good leanings toward the education. She was
Yes,
very strong about
yes,
education. I think she was sincere.
Absolutely.
Sometimes they were taken maybe out of context, so to speak, maybe taken the wrong way. People
Right,
kind of saw it the wrong way, but boy, their stuff was genuine. Their stuff was sincere.
Yeah, that especially with the education initiative, and then of course you have the First Lady now, physical education, putting the food garden where no person had put the garden for the community to have access in a side of Washington D.C. where kids probably would go hungry, and rather than decorating the garden in the highest place in the United States, use that for poverty kids. And that, like you say, some first ladies have done some marvelous jobs, have done some outstanding things, especially the thing you're doing for the community and doing for the kids from the White House. That's big.
Let's go back to the football community just briefly about Cam Newton. Bill Romanowski said he would go for his knees. Rodney Harrison said he would. Romanowski said he would get him on the ground and choke him. And Rodney Harrison said he would go for Cam's knees. Would you, if you're on the defensive side for the Denver Broncos, would you go after Cam Newton like that and try to take him out?
I wouldn't try to take him out.
Play your
No,
defensive
just
game like you normally
play
do.
your defensive game like you do. Cam Newton is one of the premier quarterbacks of the NFL. Matter of fact, he is the face of the NFL right now.
He is.
And he is doing a lot of things. He's a clean, cool-cut guy. There is no allegations now.
He reminds me a lot of a professional wrestler. I think he would make a great professional wrestler because of his charisma, his character, and the way he behaves and acts. He's so wild. He reminds me some too of Charles Barkley, because he came out of Auburn like Barkley did. And the fact that with Cam Newton like Barkley, they both don't care what you say. They've got their plan. They're going to carry out their plan and get the plan done. But think about Charles. I thought about that too. Charles had chances with Philadelphia, had chances with Phoenix, had chances. I think he went to maybe even San Antonio toward the end. Never got a championship. I hope Cam didn't end like that.
Yeah, you're right. This is big for Cam Newton. I think one of the things everybody is leaving out of Cam Newton's. Cam Newton was at Florida behind Tebow.
Right.
Left due to disciplinary problems.
Went to junior college in Texas.
Went to junior college in Texas.
Won a
Got
national
redemption.
title there.
Won a national title there. Then went to Auburn. National title there.
That's right.
And then came to depleted who was ready to get rid of Riverboat Ron Rivera. You and I said here,
Oh, yeah.
they was ready to get him out the door.
Well, back in the beginning, they wanted to get Andrew Luck. They tried to get Luck. Luck said, "I don't want to come there." He went back to college for another year, or Luck would have been their quarterback.
He'd have been their
They were going to
quarterback.
draft Andrew Luck, so they couldn't get him. They also talked about getting Patrick Peterson, the defensive back now with Arizona, and look how that turned out for Arizona. He got burned on the big play in the game, but look at Newton, and leading the way to the
And
championship.
leading the way to the championship. And Andy, I firm believe what you always say, little small blessings. It was a blessing that Ron Rivera is one of those guys, a lot of people don't know his background of poverty, background of things he's been through. And he looked at Cam Newton as a person that had changed his life. Cam had put life in the people. He begged them to keep Ron Rivera there.
Yeah,
He'll
no
be the
doubt.
first to say, my quarterback stood up for me. The whole team stood up. And Jerry Richardson, if Jerry Richardson was not an NFL player, Ron Rivera would have been gone a long time
Interesting,
ago.
too, about the parallels between the Panthers and the Bears 1985, because Rivera was on that team, Mike Ditka was that coach, and the Bears, like a freewheeling operation back then, when you had the quarterback then, Jim McMahon was the quarterback, had Walter Payton, you had Singletary, you had Steve Mongo, McMichael, you had Richard Dent, I mean, you had Wilbur Marshall, you had Dan Hampton, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I mean, you had Refrigerator Perry.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a freelance, and Ditka just let them do their thing, and they
and
won.
Ron Rivera.
And I think they only lost one game that year,
One
too,
game
which is kind
that
of
year,
crazy.
that's
They were
right.
one game losers because got beat by the Dolphins to mess up things. Well, the Dolphins beat them, saved the Dolphins' 72 perfect record. But a lot of parallels, a lot of similarities between the Bears and the Panthers going back between 85 and right now.
And they showed that in Ron Rivera learned from the best. And just to give you this sidebar, a lot of people have Panthers paraphernalia, their hats and the things, but I have something nobody else has, and I'm gonna let you in on the secret. I have a pair of Chicago Bears coaching pants worn by Ron Rivera. When I coached at Smith High School, Coach Rodney Brewington's
Remember his
uncle
connections, yeah.
was the equipment manager,
Right.
and they donated all of the old equipment, coaches' gear, and things to us. And that was the one I didn't know it until.
You got Ron Rivera's
and I got
pants.
Ron Rivera pants. So,
Coaching pants.
Coaching
Yeah,
pants.
when he was a coach on the Bears
and
staff.
He's coach of the Bears staff.
You better
I
put
have
those
this-
on Sunday and wear
Yeah.
those. You know, Ron Rivera, too, stays in close contact with John Madden. That's one of his
Yes,
confidants.
that's
They
who-
talk on the phone quite a bit. You get some help
Yeah.
from that guy. You're getting some pretty good help.
That's who. That's who we look towards for guidance. Everybody, and I'm going to show you real quickly. Cam Newton is going to be, for a long time, in my book, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all times. Not for his play on the field, but his contribution to the NFL. He is the best. He has sold the NFL in many different ways. His leadership in the community. He is one of the ones that have put the bar up for every player to give his
Yeah,
charity.
without him, the Panthers would not be where they are today going
Wouldn't
for
be.
the NFL title. And you look at Cam Newton versus Jake Delhomme, you feel a lot better about your chances going in with Cam than you do with Jake. Not taking away
Absolutely.
Jake Delhomme had a great year that year, but then he lost to New England. But again, with Cam Newton going against this weekend, going hard in the Super Bowl against Denver, I feel better about the chances of the Panthers leadership by Cam, much better. But Jake was not going to be the runner Cam could be, and Jake did not have anywhere near the body Cam Newton's
Yeah,
got. Man,
you're
the
right.
body that guy's big.
And Cam Newton, the Panthers Stadium is going to be filled for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
They just got to make sure they keep signing that guy again and again.
Yeah,
Keep him signed.
yeah, you
Plus,
got
you
to.
got to win the thing this time. You got to win
Yeah,
it this time
you
because
got
you
to
don't.
win it this time.
Next year, he may not be playing. He might be injured. He
You're
may
right.
get, you never know.
You won't get this
He
chance
just might
again.
get hurt next year. May be out for a while. He may not get that same chance. This is the chance. You got to make the most of it. You got to win it now. Got to
chance
do
of
it
a
now.
lifetime. Chance of a lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Dennis, we'll see you tomorrow night.
Hey, man, looking forward
If
to
you
it,
could
man.
do a recruiting trip for me now. Recruiting trip.
Paul.
Paul in here. 50 wings at Shane's for Super Bowl 50. 50 wings for Shane's for Super Bowl 50. Got a 2-minute warning with Paul if we can get him in. We're about ready to wrap it up for this Thursday.